Like my exploding birthday cake, I grumbled, trying not to let on how startled I was. You need to control your temper. Me? Alarms began to blare. Red lights pulsed through the corridor. A garbled voice came on the loudspeaker and said something about proceeding calmly to the exits. The French tour group ran past us, screaming in panic, followed by a crowd of remarkably fast old people with walkers and canes. Let's finish arguing later, shall we? I told Carter. Come on. We ran down another corridor, and the sirens died as suddenly as they started. The blood-red lights kept pulsing in the eerie silence. And then I heard it. The slithering, clackering sounds of scorpions. What about Bast? My voice choked up. Is she... Don't think about it, Carter said, though judging from his face, that's exactly what he was thinking about. Keep moving. Soon we were hopelessly lost. As far as I could tell, the Egyptian part of the museum was designed to be as confusing as possible, with dead ends and halls that doubled back on themselves. We passed hieroglyphic scrolls, gold jewelry, sarcophagi, statues of pharaohs, and huge chunks of limestone. Why would someone display a rock? Aren't there enough of those in the world? We saw no one, but the slithering sounds grew louder, no matter which way we ran. Finally, I rounded a corner and smacked straight into someone. I yelped and scrambled backwards, only to stumble into Carter. We both fell on our bums in a most unflattering way. It's a miracle Carter didn't impale himself on his own sword. At first I didn't recognize the girl standing in front of us, which seemed strange, looking back on it. Perhaps she was using some sort of magic aura, or perhaps I just didn't want to believe it was her. She looked a bit taller than me, probably older too, but not by much. Her black hair was trimmed along her jawline and longer in the front so that way it swept over her eyes. She had caramel-colored skin and pretty, vaguely Arab features. Her eyes, lined with black coal, Egyptian style, were a strange amber color that was either quite beautiful or a bit scary. I couldn't decide which. She had a backpack on her shoulder and wore sandals and loose-fitting linen clothes like ours. She looked as if she were on her way to a martial arts class. God, now that I think of it, we probably looked the same way. How embarrassing. I slowly began to realize that I'd seen her before. She was the girl with the knife from the British Museum. Before I could say anything, Carter sprang to his feet. He moved in front of me and brandished his sword as if trying to protect me. Can you believe the nerve? Get back, he stammered. The girl reached into her sleeve and produced a curved white piece of ivory, an Egyptian wand. She flicked it to one side, and Carter's sword flew out of his hands and clattered on the floor. Don't embarrass yourself, the girl said sternly. Where is Amos? Carter looked too stunned to speak. The girl turned towards me. Her golden eyes were both beautiful and scary, I decided, and I didn't like her a bit. Well? She demanded. I didn't see why I needed to tell her a bloody thing, but an uncomfortable pressure started building in my chest, like a burp trying to get free. I heard myself say, Amos is gone. He left this morning. And the demon cats? That's my cat, I said, and she's a goddess, not a demon. She saved us from the scorpions. Carter unfroze. He snatched up his sword and pointed it at the girl again. Well, full credit for persistence, I suppose. Who are you? He demanded. What do you want? My name is Zia Rashid. She tilted her head as if listening. Right on cue, the entire building rumbled. Dust sprinkled from the ceiling, and the slithering sounds of scorpions doubled in volume behind us. And right now, Zia continued, sounding a bit disappointed, I must save your miserable lives. Let's go. I suppose we could have refused, but our choices seemed to be Zia or the scorpions, so we ran after her. She passed a case full of statues and casually tapped the glass with her wand. Tiny granite pharaohs and limestone gods stirred at her command. They hopped off their pedestals and crashed to the glass. Some wielded weapons. Others simply cracked their stone knuckles. They let us pass, but started down the corridor behind us as if waiting for an enemy. Hurry, Zia told us. These will only... By the time I guess... Well, we've heard that before. You talk too much, Zia said without stopping.